Hi guys, it's me, Danielle Danny Buttons. I'm here today with a picture from Hannah Lynn's Tattoo Darlings. I'm going to do something a little bit different. And I have never done this in one of her books, so it's going to be different for me too. But I'm going to do an acrylic paint background. And I'm just going to color the whole page behind the circle. So I really have been wanting to use acrylic paint, and I thought this would be a good way to do it, because why not? Because her pages are all single-sided. I'm using my makeshift palette. I actually just cut this out of a piece of cardboard because I had my cousin and her young child come do crafts with me, so I didn't want to use my real one. But now I just use this whenever I'm doing some simple stuff. So I'm using Craft Smart acrylic paint. I think, is this a specific, is Craft Smart the brand? Or is it AC Moore brand? Craft Smart might be its own brand, but I probably got it at AC Moore or Michael's. So I'm just going to squirt some out. I'm going to film this part, and then I'm going to take a break and let it dry, and then I'll film the coloring afterwards. So, I don't know if this is the greatest brush for it. Yeah, let's just try it. Let's just go for it. Again, I'm not doing anything fancy. I just literally want to color the entire background solid brown. I was going to do like a blue or something like for the sky, but then I thought that that would look, I assume I'm going to color that sky blue, and I just thought it would be too much. But I feel like the brown, I plan on doing her in like blues and yellows and greens, and I thought it would make sense together. But we'll find out when we're done. I'm just going to try to go in the crease first. Again, it doesn't really matter if I get the page before it either, because that's also a single-sided page. If you've never painted on your pages before, or just done much painting in general, I have a few tips about that, because I do a lot of painting for fun. And that's always to start in the top corner opposite your dominant hand. So I am a righty, so I will start in the top left corner, and then I'll work my way over and down. Because in theory, if I started down here, for instance, then my arm would have to go on top of that to get up there. And if you do paint, that probably seems obvious. But I know I've told some friends that and really rocked their world with that tip. So, and then of course flip it if you're a lefty, because I think that's happened too, where I've had my lefty friends just be like, oh, you start in the top left, I'll do that too, but they have the same problem. So I don't know if I'm gonna use one coat or secretly need two, because it's gonna be streaky, but we will see together. Yes, this I'm doing as a color along with Brittany, who is, oh man, am I gonna forget again? It's not B-Max, it's B-Maz-X, so B-M-A-Z-X. And there's numbers, 0. I don't know. I'm sure she's gonna comment again and call me out, but she commented on my last video, and I'm definitely gonna tag her when I post this on Instagram. But Brittany has been my color along friend recently, and I'm excited because I really want to make coloring friends. So if anyone wants to do a color along with me, let me know, because I want to. You can either message me here or on Instagram, or you can just look at my coloring collection video and pick a video and comment on that, I guess. Yes, this is getting thick. Okay. I have to worry about going around. I'm gonna, when I pause, I will look up Brittany's full Instagram name and be sure to tell you. I know she also just started her own coloring Facebook group, which is Coloring with B, but I think it's kind of hard to find when you're just searching, so you have to find her on Instagram and the link will be there. So if you have not joined that, you should. yeah, so I'm filming this on Friday, but I don't know when you're going to see it because I've just been, again, whenever I'm alone, filming as much as I can, and then I'm going to post them slowly. So yesterday I put up my Tinkerbell color in chat. Is this the end? Oh, I'm coloring my background page. Good thing that was there. So I hoped you liked that one. I'm actually almost done with another page from that book. Oh man, I'm making a mess. I did Heimlich from Bug's Life because I watched that movie yesterday. And I'm doing it in marker, which is different. But I've mentioned before, I don't really have markers. I have the Crayola Super Tips, and I have a set of Statlers, but it's not really that good. So I don't usually use them, especially for the color by numbers, because I don't have enough colors. So whenever I see a character that only has like 3 or 4, not 3 or 4, that's too few, like 7 or 8 colors, then I'll whip out the Super Tips. So that's what I'm doing him in. And I do like using markers, especially in that book, because it goes much quicker. But if they don't match, I can't do it. Ugh. This is not a fine tip. So this is not the best for this. Ooh. Again, I think it's going to look a little streaky, but maybe it looks like wood. Maybe I can make it look like wood. I don't know. I just am enjoying the process. I love to paint, but I'm not good at making my own designs. So I've always painted like characters and I'll copy them, or just like look at something and copy it, so like a plant or something. I do a lot of logos. That's what I'm talking about. But I can never like create my own characters. So I don't have that kind of eye. So I don't paint that much because I don't need to paint recreations all the time. I paint a lot of shirts. I made shirts for the Scrapbook Expo every year. And whatever the theme is, I'll come up with an idea for the shirts. And this is the 4th year we did that. And I used to make shirts, I'll like recreate movie covers on shirts, or whenever I had downtime and wanted to paint, I would usually make shirts. Yeah, as you can see, this is kind of streaky. I think it looks less streaky in the camera, which that's nice. And you don't see my mistakes. But, so I don't know if I'll put a second coat on it. Or again, I might try to make it look like wood. That would be like super out of the box for me. So we'll see. But okay, so I did the whole top. So now I'm going to go back over here because my arm's still laying on that side. So acrylic paint actually dries pretty quickly. Like this is all basically dry. But I'm still going to take a break in the middle because I'm actually finishing up Heimlich from Bug's Life. Yeah, I have a lot of big coloring plans today. So we'll see how much I get done. Because I'm also in the middle of another Hannah Lynn coloring that I'm doing off camera, which I've mentioned before. Every month, my friend and I pick a Hannah Lynn book and pick a few pictures from it. So we're on our first month of Halloween pictures. Last year we did so many. We did really good work in that book last year. So there's not too many left to do. Which is, well, we could always do the doubles because Hannah Lynn frequently has doubles, not all the time. But I want to try to get through as many singular as possible and then do the doubles afterwards. The Hannah Lynn books were my first, like, girls books. I don't usually do people. So some of the ones in that Halloween book are not great because it was my first ever tries. So that's funny. Yeah, this is kind of too soft for this, but that's all right. This brush. How am I going to make this into wood? Do we know? I might like do pencils and make planks. That could be a thing. And make like knots in the wood. Because right now I'm just making a mess. Are you even in screen? You might not have been. Oh dear. I'm also just paused Robin Hood. That's my Disney movie of the day that I'm watching while I'm coloring. So the Robin Hood songs always get stuck in my head, and it gets annoying to everyone because I'll be like, ooh da lally, all day long, like for weeks, not even all day. So I'm sure Sam will not be happy when he gets home from work. And I'm like, guess what I watched? Because the song gets stuck in my head when I don't even watch the movie, so I can only imagine how bad it will be later. Yes. So if you're watching, do you have any tattoos? I do not. Mostly because I'm fickle. And I change my mind about what I like a lot. So I don't think I will ever commit to a tattoo. So my dad has one. And it's funny because really his only fear in life is needles. So I don't really understand how he got a tattoo. Oh man, I went over the line big time. But he's got one. He's got a devil on his back that I think he got when he was like 18. And the rumor has it that my grandma didn't talk to him for a month. So, and my grandma was good at that, so I'm not surprised because she was maybe the most stubborn human in the world. Yeah. It was impressive. Like, she could give the silent treatment for a month. I believe it. Okay. I always do that. The first time I squish my paint out, it's not enough at all. And then the second time, it's too much. So that's funny. But did I get to the end? Yes. Okay. Beautiful. So I'm going to let this dry and I will be right back. Or be back in a second for you. Might be a little bit longer for me. And then we'll work on making it into wood grain and coloring the rest of it. So, be right back. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes. I think I'm in frame, or at least as much as I'm gonna get. It's hard because I'm filming on my phone and I have to film in horizontal because otherwise it will be weird when I upload it. So I wish I could film vertical and then get the picture better, but this is what we're dealing with. All right, so I think it's pretty dry. It made it kind of crinkly, but again, this is Create Space paper, so that's kind of what you're gonna get. I'm using my Prismacolors. I'm only using the 48 pack for now because I tend to use these first, even though I have the 150. I kind of feel like in my head I have to finish these before I can move on to those. But really I just grab these when I'm doing something quick. And if I can't find the color I need, I'll get the big guys out. So to make wood grain, what are we going to do? I don't know. Let's take some dark umber. I think I'm just going to like make panels and see what happens. I don't know. Like I said, I've never done anything like this before. I don't really usually do backgrounds because I'm not good at it. So I'm just gonna draw lines and see, like maybe that's a panel. And maybe I'll make like a circle as if Can you see this at all? Should I lighten it up too? Is this working? Not really. Maybe if I use a lighter color instead of the darker color. Can you see this? Does that look like anything? Did I make wood? No? I don't know. I'm just gonna keep doing this and see what happens. Again, it's all for fun, experimenting, and obviously the girl's really the main focus of the page. So even if this comes out terrible, it's a learning experience. So I guess I'll just make them about even and make panels. Also, I hope you can see most of this in your screens, because again, it's hard to tell with the phone, because the phone right now, I tried to put it up higher because again, I keep saying again, calming down. Okay, I don't use a tripod. I use this weird mono arm thing that just holds my phone. So I kind of twist it and turn it however I want to get you guys to see it. So I have it twisted, and right now if I look straight ahead, it's about an inch above my eyes. So I kind of have to stretch up to see what's going on, which isn't a problem. It's just I'm not doing that constantly. So I think you kind of get the idea of what I was going for. But yeah, I keep having to go back and forth in view. So that's the annoying part. Probably put another knot in the wood. Lighten it up. Yeah, I think this looks kind of cool. I get it. I get what I was going for. Some people, jeez, gotta remember to go up and down, do such amazing backgrounds, and it's like things I would never ever have thought of. I'm like, what? So I've seen a lot of people do bubbles in the background. I think a lot of people use pastels. And right now I don't have any pastels. I do have some that are like the stick form that I actually used for clay making, kind of. That's why I bought them. I don't know if I really used them when I was supposed to. But I don't know if that's the kind people use in their coloring books, because I have to imagine that that would streak a lot, like on your arms when you're moving around. So, or do people just set it, like fixative it? I don't know. So, yeah, cool. Okay. That looks kind of cool, right? I think so. I didn't actually think about the colors for the rest of it. Let's just do some blue skies. That makes sense. I have to sharpen. I think yesterday when I was filming, I said I couldn't find my other pencil sharpener. It was secretly on my desk and I just didn't even think to look for it. Like, it's just off to the side. This is my secondary pencil sharpener, and I'm pretty sure this is just an eyeliner sharpener from like Harmon. That was like maybe $1, but I like that. The only thing with that is it makes the short tips, but I usually like the short tips anyway because it feels to me like I'm wasting less, because I personally break them less often when they're short. So, okay, I'm just gonna color some background in. Now, I've said it before, I'm saying it again. I am mostly a straight colorer. Colorist? Are we colorers or colorists? I assume we're colorists, but I will shade her skin, and I usually blend the hair. But other than that, it's almost all straight coloring. So that's easier for me. I almost am like a lazy colorist, that I don't have time to do 15 layers. And I always am very judgmental on my own work anyway, so sometimes I'll put in all the work and then I'll be like, oh, this is gross. I tend to do that a lot. Let me know if you guys do that too, or I never like my own work. But then if I go back to it like a year later, I'm like, oh, that was pretty good. I do that a lot with my scrapbooking too. I'm like, oh, I'm always complaining to Sam that I forgot how to scrapbook. And I'm like, this looks terrible. I hate it. But then I flip through old ones and I'm like, oh, this is all pretty good. I like a lot of it. So. This picture just started to remind me of fall because we always, my friends and I, go to a corn maze every year. And I assume there's some corn around. I don't know. Maybe I'm making things up. But tractors reminded me of corn. So it's a lot of fun, the corn maze. I've always wanted to go. This is, I think, going to be our 4th or 5th year going. And for years, I had wanted to do one and never could find one. I don't know if I wasn't looking hard enough or in the right places. But there would always be teeny tiny corn mazes, like in the pumpkin patches when we went to pick Halloween pumpkins. But they would literally be like, you could see over them, and they were just for kids to run around. But this one is legit. It takes about half an hour to 45 minutes to get out, at least. Sometimes an hour long. And that's pretty cool. And we always, oh no, I bent my page. We always go during the day, so it's not scary. But I did now, probably again, 3-4 years ago, we went to a scary night corn maze. Oh my goodness. Do not recommend. That was absolutely terrifying. That was the scariest thing I have ever done on my own free will. I think there's more guy back there. Or is that hair? I never know with Hannah Lynn books what's hair, so I usually just make everything hair. Probably gonna do that too. Yes, we went. My cousin is really thought she was into spooky things, so she tricked us into taking her to this spooky woods. I don't know. It was a 3-event night. And it was a scary, a haunted house, a scary corn maze, and a haunted hayride. Oh my goodness. We definitely did things in the wrong order, though. We did the hayride first. And the hayride, basically, you sat on the hayride, and it, like, went through the woods or wherever. I guess probably more corn maze. And it kept, like, breaking down, and it would break down in front of this abandoned house, and then all these people with chainsaws would run out of the house, and they were actually like allowed to jump on to the tractor and get up all in your face, and that was pretty scary. But at least like you were sitting, and like there was tons of other people with you, so very scary but manageable. Then we did the haunted corn maze. I'm going to skip that because that was the scariest. We did the haunted house last, and that was a mistake because in the haunted house, they weren't allowed to touch you, and it was all like a production. Like everything was staged, and obviously the whole thing is staged, but I feel like when you're like in the field and people are just chasing you, that's not as staged what they do. But it was like, oh, this room had a magician, and this room had just a lady in chains trying to come get you. And after doing the other two, that was like nothing. It was not scary at all. So, should I make these clouds? It feels awfully dark. I didn't plan what I'm going to do. What else is new? Why does she have one? Oh, she has pigtails and it's just one's behind her. Okay. I'm just going to start on skin then while I talk. I'm probably going to make her peach. And as I said before, how I do skin tones is I pick 2 colors and one says regular and one says light, or one says regular and one says dark, and I just go for it. So I'm doing peach and light peach for my peach girls. And I'm trying the shade where I think I'm supposed to, but I have no idea. I make it up as I go. So yeah, so we did the haunted house. The haunted house was pretty cool. They made you sign waivers before you went in, but really the waivers were to get your names. And then as you're like walking up to the house, there's like a graveyard and there were tombstones, and then your names were on the tombstones because that's what you signed on the waiver. And then when we got to the front, like they would call one of you individually. So my cousin, they called her name and she had to like hold the key to give to someone later. And it felt extra spooky because they knew your name. But again, after doing what we had already been through, it was like nothing. And then we went into the room with the magician and he was like, oh, I need a volunteer to step into this box. And they had set us in with another family. So it was me, my cousin, her friend, and Samuel. And then this other family seemed to be like a grandma, a mom, and a kid, I think. So they sent us in with them, and the kid volunteered to go in the box. So they put the kid in the box, and the kid disappeared. And the mother and grandmother were like, we won't leave without him. And it was pretty obvious that he was just like in the next room. Like he just walked through the box. But they freaked out and they wouldn't leave. And we're like, come on, guys. This is crazy. So finally, the magician had to break character and be like, it's okay. He's right here. Or something like that. And it was crazy. So that was fun. Yeah. Then back to the haunted corn maze. Okay. It was terrible, guys. It was terrible. You had to walk. They sent us just the 4 of us for this one. And you had to walk through the corn maze. But every once in a while, there were like tiny houses to walk through in the corn maze. So we started off in a tiny house. And again, it was me, Sam, a cousin, and her friend. They are 6 years younger than us. So they, I think, were like 18 at the time. Does that make sense? 18, 19. They were young. And, well, it's all relative. But they were younger than us. And obviously Samuel and I. So we forced Sam to go first. He was not happy with it. We go in the first room and a clown pops out and screams. And he's in the front of the line. He falls down. He falls to the ground. I think he just like got scared and slipped. But it was so funny that the clown also broke character and started to laugh at him. And she's like, just go, just go. So that's how we started that. But then in the corn maze, it's like pitch black out. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what's going on. And you just hear things. And it's pretty well spaced that you can't really hear anyone else that's walking through it. And you can just hear the bad guys, obviously. So we're walking and we're walking. And we're in a single file line, like terrified, all next to each other. And then all of a sudden, you hear a chainsaw. And this chainsaw goes off and Sam runs. And again, he's in the front and he books and he just like leaves all of us. And we're like, no, wait. And it was so funny. So yeah, that was definitely the hardest thing I've ever done to myself. And I don't know if I will ever go back. But it was just funny to see Sam react. So maybe I'd go back for that. Don't know. But it was so funny. We tell that story all the time and he gets so mad. He's like, I was going first because you guys were all scared. And we're like, yeah, that's true. Not denying that. So. Does she have clouds on her chest as tattoos? Oh, yeah, I think it's like the tornado clouds. It's pretty cool. I guess I should do, I don't know how much of like within here is skin and how much of it is tattoo, which obviously that's probably silly to say, but it's the truth. That seems like skin. I hope these are cow spots, because that's pretty cool. I really like this book because it's a really good way for Hannah to give you pictures about all different things without having to come out with its own book. Because recently she's been doing themed books. So, but each page is just a different theme in this one. So that's pretty nice. I'm just gonna make all of this skin. That's fine. I don't know about that side yet. I know what colors I'm using though, so I can always go back to it. Okay, let's blend. My blender is on its last legs, so I gotta only use this one because it won't fit in that one. I have these extenders that I got as a gift, and I know she got them off Amazon if you're interested, though I'm sure you probably already have them. Oh, I dropped my pencil. And I think I've shown this before, but I'll show you again. I use this tiny cauldron as my pencil shaving cup because I got like a 6-pack of these from the Dollar Tree. And then I was like, what am I gonna use this for? But I use it for this, so that's pretty cool. But this will be my 3rd tiny blender pencil. Can you see them in there? They're so tiny. They're hard to get out. Yeah. So, in comparison to a full pencil. Pretty crazy. Maybe one day I'll have enough tiny ones to make a full pencil. Goals. So, I have to keep these though. I don't know if that's weird. But, whatever, I'm weird. So, let me just... The tip of my blender is dirty from whatever I was doing last. So I just rub it off. Okay. Let's blend. I just go in there. Like I just make a lot of noise apparently. But I mentioned this before too, with Hannah books, especially it's on Create Space paper. You kind of have to be careful getting near the black lines because they will blend right off. So sometimes it won't matter if you're doing someone spooky. They can have a little dirt on their skin. I guess she could too since she's a farmer chick. She's probably been dirty before. But if you don't want that, you just got to be careful and watch your blending. So... It doesn't bother me too much usually, and especially because I frequently do the skin pretty early in the game, so it's not like I did this whole perfect page and then mess it up. But, again, everyone is bothered by different things, so if that's going to bother you, be careful. Oh, I've mentioned this before too, but in case you're seeing this and wondering, one day I accidentally printed like 60 pages of coupons that are expired. I like meant to cancel it and it didn't cancel. So now I use these between my pages. So I'll flip that so it's not as distracting. Beautiful. That's about it. That's all I'm going to do. Maybe I'll give her a little bit darker freckles. Freckles. Just literally going over what's already there. Oh, that was a big one. Now she's got weird line freckles. That's fine. Does that look incredibly ridiculous? Yes, a little bit. I'm going to take out my eraser. Gotta get rid of that one if I can. Ugh. Good enough. Okay. I don't have an idea for her hair yet. Or the rest of her. See, now, if you can see, this looks like her dress. What is this? Is this background? Or is this more of her dress? Because it looks like her whole dress is that pattern. So I don't know what that is. Let's do the brown of the stick. Oh, this was wood. That's kind of my inspo for the background, right? Just some random lines. I almost want to do her hair orange for I don't know why. Maybe I'm just in that fall mood. But that kind of seems ridiculous. Should I go for it? Should I go crazy right now? Maybe. What is all this too? Everything looks like clouds. I'm trying to think because I always like to figure out my main colors before I get going. I might do her dress green, or at least this half of her dress. And green and orange would look fine. But then what do I do the polka dots? I don't know. And then the background, because if this is green, then that's green. You know what? Let's throw caution to the wind. Let's just do it. I also tend to pick what to do based on how tall that pencil is. So as you can see, my oranges are pretty tall. So I'm gonna just go for it. Maybe I'll do some red with it so it's not as bright orange. I have no idea. All right, what's my plan? So I guess my plan's just go for it. Yes. So like I said, I tend to blend the hair too. Let's not get too far before we check it. I'll do some red. Ooh. And with the Prisma on this paper especially, it looks very different blended. So you should always try a little bit before you go crazy. I don't know if this qualifies as trying a little bit, but. And again, with hair too, I don't mind it getting a little muddy from the pencil lines because I kind of feel like that makes sense. Because it's hair. It's not going to be pristine. How do we like it? Is it terrible? Do we love it? Is it good enough? Yeah, I almost feel like the black from the line work brings in what looks like brown instead. Okay, so for the most part, I go darker in the corners and lighter in the centers, sometimes even leaving spaces since I know I'm blending it. And if you can see, there's some areas that are like hatched. That's where I'm going to put the darker red. And then I just mix it all together. There's not too much precision here. And then we see how we like it. So obviously I'm burnishing it though when I'm blending. So if you're not sure if you're gonna like it, maybe go a little slower than this. But I just go for it. Yeah, see how basically that's all pencil marks, not even color pencil. Should I zoom a little bit? I think I'm gonna forget to zoom out, so I apologize in advance when that happens. Also, it makes the tripod wiggly, or monopod. Oh, here's a question. How often do you like seeing posts from people? So, anytime I'm home alone, I've been filming as much as I can, but I'm spreading out when to post them. So should I post one a day? Should I post every other day? Should I post once a week? I feel like more is always better, but I also know that sometimes more is too much Like, you don't have time to watch me an hour a day. I'm a nobody so far. So, and also I keep trying to like come up with what I hope are creative ideas. And I don't know if people like seeing that either. Do you like to see the new stuff? Do you want me to just chat and color? Who knows? I was thinking of diamond painting and chatting. I was thinking of scrapbooking and chatting. I don't know how I think I have all of this to talk about, though. Oh, my other plan with that, my other Disney coloring books. I think what I'm going to attempt to do next time is film it in real time and then double speed it and do a voiceover. Because an hour and a half is a long time for a color along that has numbers. I just think I'm not even being that creative. I'm just matching the colors and doing the exact same thing they are, which I obviously have no problem with that, but I don't know if that's fun for you guys to watch. So I think that's what I'm going to try next time. We will see. I also don't know how hard that is because I feel like, how am I going to talk for 40 minutes in a voiceover when I have nothing to say? And it won't be live, so it's not like, oh, this is what's coming to me. But we will find out together. See how when I rub that in, it gets all brown? I like it. It's like texture. I didn't even do up here. It's like you can tell that's the clean area that I haven't rubbed in. And then I make it all dirty. Pretty good. Okay. Sometimes I feel like this is too loud to talk over, so let me do this for a second. Beautiful. Then I take a napkin and kind of rub it down, just because when you're blending that hard, bits are flying everywhere. So, zoom back out. I remembered. Let's do the rest of her head. I don't think anyone is following along, but in case, I'm using pale vermilion and carmine red. I don't tend to watch the color and chats that are follow along with the pencil choices. I do have a problem, like, if I see something and copy it, I feel guilty. So I try not to copy colors exactly, which I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with it either, but I'm using coloring to try to be creative, so I don't know. That probably sounds silly when I do all those color by numbers. I think I'm just talking to talk at this point. Maybe I'll do dark green for her outfit and then light green for the background. That makes sense. Some sense, I guess. Yeah, I always just, when I'm confused about Hannah Lynn, I just put more hair. Because, like, I think there could be some sky back there or some of the pitchfork. Oh, no, not that sharpener. Also, I just realized if I binge film and you see me, you're going to think I'm wearing the same outfit for like weeks. But no. Just overnight. Pajama shirt. Let's see. What is your favorite... Ooh, not favorite. What TV show are you looking forward to coming out? I'm kind of interested in watching that Manifest show, and I don't know why, because I don't think that's going to be a genre I'm into. But it's the show, I think it's on NBC. And it's like, the plane was missing for 5 years and now they're back. And they don't know what happened. So, it has the guy that was in Once Upon a Time. So, that'll either make it better or terrible. And I'm also on Lifetime. I want to watch You. That's based on a book, and I read the book, and I really enjoyed it. And then one of the characters in the new show is going to be Emily from Pretty Little Liars, which I also was obsessed with that show. So I'm interested in seeing how that goes. But it's weird because I know all the plot from the book, and I'm like, how is this going to work out? I don't understand. And I can't talk about it because it will spoil things for people. I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to have to watch and see. That one comes out on Sunday night. But I will be recording it because I'm busy Sunday. Also, I'm so excited that football started back yesterday. Are there any football fans in the house? I am a New York Giants fan, so our first game is Sunday, and I'll be missing it for my bridal shower, so that's sad. But it's funny, I do not like birds. I'm really afraid of birds in real life. Do not like. So yesterday, it was 2 bird teams playing against each other. So my method of picking what team to root for if the Giants are not playing in the game is I always root against the bird team. And both teams were bird teams. So I ended up having to root against the Eagles because they're in our conference and division, so I don't want them to succeed. And then I had to root for the Falcons. And that's funny because red is my least favorite color. So if there's no bird teams, I pick based on color. And I would never pick red. So, and then the Eagles won anyway. It was like the worst of all possible outcomes. Red bird teams. Ugh. So. We're making progress. This might end up just being a part 1 because I'm getting a sore throat again. Or who knows, I'll probably stop filming and then come back in half an hour. But I also think this is getting long. So I think after the hair, that will be the end of part 1. That seems reasonable. Then I'll finish watching Robin Hood. So, yes, I'm excited for football. I love football. This is the first year in I think 4 or 5 years we're not doing fantasy football. And that's going to be real weird because I get to just like watch the games for fun again. So, that's a whole new world for me. But I have so many wedding relating events that I know are going to be on Sundays that we're going to have to miss games. So, I didn't want to try to do football. I always hate when you're doing fantasy and then someone like gives up and isn't even trying anymore. And I didn't want to be that person because I'm not going to have time to worry about setting my team and my lineup for many of the weeks. So, but I love fantasy football. It's just fun because it makes you watch more than just your home team. And we actually have on cable Red Zone, or NFL TV, I guess it's called. Is it called Red Zone or NFL TV? I don't know. We have a channel that plays all the games at the same time. So it'll just show you when the team is in the red zone, which is like almost going to score. And that's so much fun to watch because sometimes there'll be like 6, 7 games on at the same time and they'll be flipping back and forth and it's like, how do you keep up with it? But it's fun. So I'm looking forward to that starting. But then I always watch the Giants on real time and I watch Red Zone the rest of the night. So It's like an 8-hour highlight reel is basically what Red Zone is. So I'm hoping the Giants do well this year. I love Eli Manning. I know there are so many Eli haters for what I feel like is no reason. I think he's very good. I think that we had real terrible coaching for a little while, and that's why we did so poorly. And, of course, last year everyone was hurt. Ugh. Like, I think we lost 4 or 5 people to ankle injuries in the same game. So that was crazy. So I think almost all of them are back now. Maybe all of them. And we'll do better when we have all of our players, right? That just makes sense. I have to sharpen one more time. Also, I hope you can hear me over my incessant blending because it sounds loud on my end, but my face is a lot closer to the phone, so hopefully you're hearing my voice instead of the blending. I was going to pretend to like mouth words, so it's like, oh, you can't hear me, but you can't see me either, so that wouldn't have worked out. Would have been a bad joke. All right. There we go. I think this will be the end of part 1. I hope you enjoyed part 1. And like my maybe wood grain, maybe you can't even tell. Who knows? I'll be back soon to film part 2. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.